All right, so good morning. Without any further delay, let's pick up kind of where we left off from yesterday. So I want you guys to take a minute or two and see if you can graph this. And I want to let you guys know next Wednesday, we have a quiz, which is really going to be no different than an assignment, other than the check work button will not be there, and you can only submit it once. It's still going to count the same as a homework account. It's 10 points. But that's Wednesday. Take about one more minute. We'll get started. All right. Sometimes after I say that, it's hard to wait a minute. So let's do this one at a time. So I only use this value, 3x, or this equation, 3x, when x is less than or equal to -2. So I can think of it like this. So less than or equal to -2, I need to know that value. So when x is -2, my y value is -6, and it is going to be closed. So from -2, -6, it's going to be closed. And again, from here, I can apply my slope. But because it's less than or equal to -2, I only want my slope going left. So my slope is +3. So this one really should be down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Like this, sorry. That's the first one. I put up a different graph. That's why it didn't fit. Grab the wrong one. Anyhow, let's keep going. Let's do the next one. I'll do it in light blue. So if I'm trying to graph this equation, it is only good between -2 and 1. So I want both of those values. I want -2 and 1, and it's going to be open on both. So when I plug in -2, I've got -4 plus 1 is -3. I've got 2 plus 1 is 3. So -2, -3, it's going to be open. 1, +3, it's going to be open. There you go. And the last one, I'll use dark blue. So it's going to be as long as x is greater than or equal to 1, my value is -3. So it's closed. So when x is 1, y is -3. There's no slope. It is constant. And that's what it looks like. Any questions at all? No? All right, let's try this again. Let's do it backwards. This time, what if I want you to write the equation? So again, I'm going to give you guys way too much time, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes here. Write the equation. Take about 20 more seconds. All right. So let's do this real quick. Again, I don't have to do it like this, but if I call this A, B, and C, and I call this one A, this one B, this one C. So in general, we always want to go from left to right, but it doesn't really matter. It just helps keep it straight. So the very first one, what is my slope on this first one? Somebody help me out.
3/2.
So I heard
Negative
3 over
3 over
2. Somebody either confirm that or correct it.
-3/2.
It has to be negative. So again, because it goes down and to the right, don't worry about the arrow because it goes down and to the right, we know it's negative. So whenever we're finding slope, it's always left to right. So down 1, 2, 3, right 2, so negative 3 over 2x. If I kept it going, what's my y-intercept?
-5.
Negative 5. And I do that as long as your x is what?
Less than -2.
Less than -2. That's exactly right. The next one, my slope is 0, so it's not changing. So it's a constant. So this value is 1. So that's just going to be 1 as long as, and this is the one that throws people off, as long as x is between what two values?
-2 and 4.
So -2 and 4, and make sure you've got the right sign. So I've got, is that correct? Or what did I miss?
You need a greater than or equal to.
Right. Less than or equal to. So that's saying x is between those. It's still less than or equal to, but the way we've got it written, I understand why you said that. So x is between -2 and 4, including -2. The last one, I'm going to start with my ifs. So my ifs, it goes to the right of 4. So as long as x is greater than or equal to 4, but somebody else tell me, what's my slope?
-1x or -x.
Yeah, and you can write -1. That's perfectly fine. And if I kept that going, what's my y-intercept?
7.
Exactly right. Perfect. All right. That's a summation of what we've done the last 2 days. Any questions? Awesome. Now, This is going to feel a lot like Algebra 1, which I know for some of you guys was a long time ago. All of you guys was a long time ago. So I'm going to run you through this, and we shouldn't be on here for more than about 15 minutes. You do have an assignment on big ideas tonight that is nothing more than 2x2 systems. This is not an Algebra 2 standard, but you cannot do it by hand, the 3x3 systems by hand, unless you can do a 2x2 system. So let's go. Again, we've only got like 4 or 5 practice problems. Most of you do not need this, but some of you might. Your entire goal is to cancel out a variable. We are solving by elimination. Yes, they're solving by substitution. Yes, they're solving by graphing. But the only way that we are recapping today is by elimination. We'll look at some more complex problems on Monday. So let's do this. So once we have a set of opposite coefficients, again, just to recap that means make sure your x's and your y's are lined up. I need the coefficients, the number in front of the variable, to be opposites. That means different signs, same number. Once you have opposites, you add the equations. So what happens when you add opposites? They always cancel. So 5 minus 1 is 4, 4x equals 4, solve for that variable, and x is 1. Once you've got one value, how do you find the next? All you have to do is plug it in. It does not matter which equation you plug it into. So if I plug it into the top, I've got 1 plus 2y equals 5, then solve for y. Subtract 1, divide, and y is 2. Your last step, remember, your solution to a system is where those two equations, where the two lines intersect. So your answer should be a point. Especially if there's no context, if there's no real world problem, make sure you write it as an ordered pair. By the way, we don't have to use x and y. We could use a and b, r and s, q and w, whatever it is. If it's something besides x and y, or no matter what it is, really, you always want to list them in alphabetical order, always. Now, I know I'm going slow. I just want to make sure we don't have to go back over this later. Hey, there it is. So right here, I want to find the variable that is the easiest to get opposites. I do not have opposites. 2 and 2 are not opposites. 5 and -3 are not opposites. So what you ask yourself is, what can I multiply by one equation or both to get a set of opposite coefficients? Choose the easiest variable, whichever one you think is easier. There's no wrong answer. So would I rather try and cancel out the x's or the y's?
The x's?
Yeah, I would pick that too, because this is simple. I'm not trying to make you guys do any more work than you need to. But if one of them is 2 and the other one is 2, opposite of 2 is -2. So what can I multiply by +2 to make it -2?
-1.
Exactly. So really what I have is this. And again, I am not trying to talk to anybody like you've never seen this. Not trying to talk to you like you're dumb. I want to make sure that I know it's been a long time since you've seen this. Divide by 8. And sometimes we make mistakes on the easier ones instead of the harder ones. We just fly through it. Once I have a value for y, I can plug it into any one of these equations. It does not matter which one. I'll plug it into the top. subtract 10, divide by 2, then write your answer as an ordered pair. Remember, it has to go x then y. So these two lines intersect at the point -3, 2. Any questions there? Again, this one is way too easy. Hold on, let's see something. Yeah. So this one's way too easy. Again, but just for good measure, what is easiest to get a set of opposites, the x's or the y's?
The Y.
The y's are easiest. Again, there's no wrong answer. Doggone it. There's no wrong answer, but what makes the y's easiest? And what I want you guys to look for is any time that you've got like a +1 as a coefficient. That is almost always going to be the easiest one to cancel, unless you already have a set of opposites. So what can I get? One coefficient is 2 and this one's 1. What can I multiply by 1 to get the opposite of 2?
-2.
There you go. Once I've got that, 3x minus 4x is -1x. The y's cancel, equals -1. I don't want to know the value of -1x, so I divide by -1 or change the signs, and the x is 1. If x is 1, how do I find y? Plug it back into any one of these equations. I'll plug it in right here. 3 times 1 plus 2y equals 1. Divide by 2. Now, if you are ever unsure about that, if you think, something doesn't look right, you can check your answer by plugging both of these values in, and they should work in both equations. So when x is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, y is -1, so 2 minus 1, does it equal 1? Yes. X is 1, that gives me 3, y is -1, 2 times -1 is -2, does that equal 1? Yes, so it's a solution. Again, write it as an ordered pair. And I know I'm going quick, but does anybody have any questions at all? Remember, there is no dumb question, and I know I'm going super fast. Okay. I think we've only got like 2 more examples. I need to make sure that you guys completely understand the 2x2 systems before we move on to the Algebra 2 standard, which will be on Monday. Again, there's no wrong answer. Choose a variable to eliminate and do as little work as possible.
Multiply the bottom by -2.
Exactly. So if I've got this 6x minus 5y equals 2, by the way, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of writing the same thing twice. So after I do that, I'm going to lightly cross this out. I'm still showing my work. I'm doing everything I need to do. I just didn't want to write the 6x minus 5y equals 2 twice. And I'm not mad at you guys if you do the same thing. Keep your work organized. So do I have opposites? Yes. So add them together. Y is 2. Again, I can plug this value into any equation, including the one that I kind of crossed out. You're just plugging in or substituting that y value 2 in for y and telling me what x is. I'll plug it into the bottom just to show you. 3x plus 2 times 2 equals 10. Subtract 4. and x is 2. That's your final answer. Any questions? All right, I know that you guys didn't talk about this at all last year. It's been at least a year since you've seen this. So again, and I know I'm going fast, but hopefully you guys kind of remember what's going on. Let's do the next one. And then let me see one more. That might be it. No, 1, 2. All right, then I'll do one more after this because I want to show you what happens when we get, because inevitably you will get an ugly answer. So let's do this. Now, I don't have opposites. I don't have a 1x. I don't have a multiple of anything. So again, you get to choose and there is no wrong answer. Which variable do you want to cancel out, the x's or the y's?
X.
Again, no wrong answer. I heard x, so that's fine. We chose to cancel out the x's. Now I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. I need opposites, right? So if I have a 3 on top, I need a 3 on the bottom. If I have a 2 on the bottom, I need a 2 on the top. So if I multiply this out, that still just gives me 6x and 6x. So one of these has to be what?
Negative.
Negative. Does it matter which one?
No.
No. So you choose. I'm going to choose the top. By the way, the only reason I chose the top is because I see more negatives here and I don't want to make any silly mistakes. So when I multiply this
Negative.
out, yeah, question? Once I have opposites, add them together and divide. Any questions? Okay, so again, I can plug this into any one of the equations. I'm going to plug it into the bottom. Subtract 14. There you go. Any questions? All right, so let's look at one more. Then I'm going to give you guys a challenge problem. There is no wrong answer. Which one you want to solve for? So do you guys want to eliminate the x variable or the y variable?
Y.
So I heard y's. Now most people would pick the y's because they already see one's negative, one's positive. Somebody would pick the y's because the answer or it's closer to 0, they're smaller numbers. It doesn't matter. Now, if this is negative and that's positive, I don't have to worry about the signs. I see a 3 on top, I need a 3 on the bottom. I see a 5 on the bottom, I need a 5 on the top. So whatever that coefficient is what you're multiplying by. Just make sure in the end, one of them is positive, one of them is negative. Distribute it out. Once you have opposites, add. Divide. There we go. Pick any equation to plug in for. I'll plug it into the bottom. Add 8. Divide by 5, and y is 0. Any questions? Again, if you don't think that looks right, plug it back into both equations and make sure it works on both of them. -2 times 5 is -10, minus 0 is -10, it worked. 4 times -2 is -8, plus 0 is -8, so that is my answer. Any questions? Last one, and we're gonna actually have a super early release, like a 10-minute early release. Happy Friday. But do this first. And remember, you do have an assignment on big ideas. I want to show you something else. What happens, because again, this is the next class and I want you guys to think deeper. Somebody give me 2 numbers over 10.
12 and
15.
So I heard 12 and 15. Give me 2 more numbers. They can be anything.
34 and 27.
Wow, you guys really made this ugly. So this is a really ugly system. The uglier it gets, you don't have to worry about plugging it back in. If I want to get a set of opposite coefficients, I'm going to choose my x's. I chose them. No particular reason. I'm not worrying about the least common multiple. If I see I've got a 34 here, the 34 goes here, the 12 goes here, but one of them has to be negative. I do not care which one is negative. Now, we pick such ugly numbers. I'm actually going to use my calculator real quick and do 34 times 12, which is 408, minus 34 times 15 equals 7 times 34. Oh, sorry. So once they cancel out, I just subtract negative 186y equals 226. That's your y value. Now, I'm keeping that here. Obviously, I should reduce that. But I'm keeping that there for a reason. No way do I want to plug in, if it was reduced, negative 113 over 93. So what else can I do? If I do not want to plug in an ugly variable, sweet, don't worry about it. Let's just go through and let's solve for the other variable. So if you ever get a value that you don't want to plug in, okay, I'll do this in green, no, light blue. Now we cancel out the y's. So the bottom has a 27, top has a 27. Bottom gets a 15, one of them has to be negative, doesn't matter. I'll make the bottom one negative. Then you do it again. So we've got 27 times 12, which is 324. 15 times 27 minus 405. Oh, come on. 27 times 7 is 189. Down here, we've got 15 times 320 times 34. And then that should be plus 405y. So I've got negative 186x equals 174. And you're finished. So if you truly get ugly numbers that you do not want to plug in, now that's not going to happen on your assignment tonight. I'm just letting you know in the future. All you have to do is go through and cancel or eliminate the other variable, and that's it. Now, the reason I didn't reduce is because I wanted you to see one thing. What did you notice about the denominators?
They're the same.
And they will be the same. Always. Okay? Your big ideas assignment is only 2x2 systems. I think you've only got like 8 or 10 to do. So you guys have, ooh, we're getting you out about 13 minutes early. So go ahead and get started. By the way, if you have any questions at all about your homework, about anything else, please, please, please let me know. And I'm going to try and have your grade book up to date by the time I leave here today. All right, everybody else, have a fantastic day.